I like to say there are no good or bad choices. It's choices and the consequences you're willing to live with. If you're willing to live with those consequences, then make the choice. If you eat an entire cake on camera, you're promoting unhealthy eating. Objectively, how are you quantifying that?
Was okay.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I hope if this is the second or third video that you've seen, that you will consider subscribing and possibly liking this video. I'm glad you have joined me so that we can get lost in my opinions. And today I'm going to be doing a blind reaction on Jubilee's Fit versus Overweight Women. This Jubilee video is about a year old and is approximately 40 minutes. This will be a blind reaction on my thoughts and opinions and whether or not I agree or disagree with the different statements that are made during this Jubilee. So let's get started.
Is your physique is in your control. Will the agreeers please step forward?
Before they start and give their opinions, I believe that our physiques are within our control. There is plenty of things that we can do and we can make decisions on that impact our physique. That ranges from what we eat, how active we are, whether or not we participate in surgeries, have cosmetic procedures. There's so many things that we do have control over for our physique. Having time and money are things that can impact it as well as motivation. But ultimately, if you care about something, you make time for it. You will make it happen.
She has a question.
I have a question. When you mean physique, can you specify like what exactly are you trying to?
I think physique is like the shape and size of your body. Why were you hesitating?
Because there's a lot of different illnesses around. So I have family members that have like thyroids and they can't gain weight or they can't lose weight. But I think that they can manage to stay at a place that's going to be healthy for them. To me personally, I do feel like I can be at a better place. I'm working on it, and that's my goal. So.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think that definitely people have ailments, there's different diseases and all that, but I think at the end of the day, what you can do, the best physical peak for your personal body is in your hands. You may not look like someone you want to look like, your ideal situation, but you can optimize your body to be the highest performance that you think that you can get to.
When I first started working out, I lost 60 pounds, and that included just counting calories. I didn't have to work out as hard. I did the treadmill. I went at an incline, and I just walked the whole time, watching a movie and just walked. I just made healthier choices, and I've been mindful about what I put inside my body.
Like, you put in that effort, right? You made those conscious decisions to walk on the treadmill, count your calories. You were super exact with everything, and that's how both of you guys were able to lose so much weight, right? So your physique is 100% in your control. It's just that nobody wants to put the effort in.
Just so we can invite the disagreeers.
So one of the individuals brought up a interesting point about like different diseases or different disabilities or elements that could impact your physique. So yes, different thyroid conditions can impact how much weight you can gain or lose. However, there's enough medical intervention out there where you can stabilize your thyroid and control or manage your weight gain and loss. If your thyroid is not performing properly, then there's medication to assist in it performing properly. That comment also sparked a different thought where like acne scars, losing a limb, there are things that you may not have total control over. For instance, if you lose a limb, that will impact your physique and what you can and can't do to an extent. But again, ultimately, there are medical interventions available, and people can accomplish and do a lot of different things. They are consistent and they actually prioritize what they want to do.
So that's a great point to bring in our disagreement. Whoever wants to pick up where we just left off.
So, while of course there are aspects that I think you can control about your physique, I think there are more things that are out of your control. Like, it is so much more expensive to eat healthy than it is to eat like crap. If I go to the grocery store and I just want to buy a bunch of frozen meals, that's going to be so much cheaper than me going and buying fresh produce and fresh fruit and everything.
I disagree.
You-
I disagree too.
Why do you disagree?
I disagree with that as well. You can buy frozen vegetables. Yeah, that's frozen, but it's not super processed. You can buy food in bulk at different places like Costco or Sam's Club, and then you can wash vegetables, skin them, cut them, do something to them, prepare them, and then put them in a freezer bag and store them in the freezer. So essentially, you're making your own frozen vegetables. Additionally, you can buy frozen meat. You don't necessarily have to buy crazy expensive meat. Chicken's not that expensive. Frozen chicken is usually not that expensive. Chicken is really high in protein and healthy. Fish can get expensive, but you can buy chicken in bulk, and that is super easy. Additionally, like if you have a Costco membership, you can get the $5 rotisserie chickens, and you can make a few different meals with all of the chicken in there, and you can make chicken soup. So there's so many things you can do with affordable whole foods that when you consider the prices of prepackaged meals, you're considering the convenience of it versus the actual cost of it, in my opinion.
Prepackaged foods, the frozen ones, way more expensive. I've been on a budget, eternally. I always save money by just going to the grocery store and buying ingredients.
I agree with you on that, but I can go get a frozen meal sometimes for $1.50, $2. Where if I want to cook a whole meal, like depending on what all the ingredients I'm getting, that could be $10.
So you'll get more.
Yes, but still, you have to think from people who have like no money and they're thinking like, oh, I can
I've
get.
had no money. I've had $12 for a week's amount of food.
I hear both. I think that you definitely, in the short
One is talking about managing money over a longer period of time, while the other person is saying, I need the convenience of this food now, and I'm willing to pay $1.50, $2.50 for this frozen meal versus using mental capacity and time to plan out and buy a bunch of ingredients and then have pre-planned meals for like a week.
term mindset, it is cheaper. You
Yeah.
go to a fast food restaurant, they have like a dollar menu. I think they've
Yeah.
increased the dollar menu now. So,
Like
which is
$2
crazy.
menu.
So that's valid, I think, but I think it's killing us in the long term. Like it's like that short dopamine effect, the dopamine where you're like, oh, I just need something right now.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue.
I also did want to, just touch on other than like food costs, like there's also privilege when it comes to like having time to cook stuff.
Definitely.
Like if you work a
100%.
full-time job, if you have kids and stuff, a lot of the time it's just easier. You don't have the time and energy. Like I enjoy cooking, but it's a lot of work sometimes. And it's much easier for me to just like go through the drive-through. And then also privilege when it comes to like your when you are depressed, when you're struggling to even like get through the day, it can be really hard to have that motivation to eat well, to move your body and stuff. So for then when people are like, oh, well, why aren't you working out? It's like, dude, I can barely even get out of bed. So like,
Yeah.
please stop with that.
I just wanted to say that I didn't step forward because I have PCOS and I just recently got diagnosed with it. So with PCOS, it's so much more difficult for me to lose the weight and control what I want my physique to look like. It's just so much harder.
Fun fact, there are tons of people who have PCOS who have lost weight. Michelle McDaniel's one of them. I know Honey Bison talks about all of the individuals and followers who comment and message that they also have PCOS and have lost weight. I am in the process of being diagnosed with it. I recently had a provider ask me if I had ever been diagnosed with it based off of the symptoms and experiences that I've had. It's possible. It's possible. It might be more challenging, more difficult, but it's possible. And time can seem like a privilege, but we make our priorities. We have to prioritize and have enough value on something to prioritize it.
it's not impossible, but it is.
We can fix it.
It's something
and we
that
can
can
fix
be
it.
fixed.
PCOS, we can fix
Sorry
it. So
to cut y'all off, but Brie, I just wanted to hear from you.
The question, like, your body is in your control. I just think it is not 100% in your control. To say it's like black and white, you can change it or you can't, is just crazy. It's just so nuanced. I really like appreciated you bringing up like the food access that you have, the knowledge access, your socioeconomic status. I go to the gym, I sit there, and I'm like, if only everyone had access and the free time to do this. I'm sure so many other people would love to do that, but people are struggling. They need to pay their rent. They can't just allot that time. They need to prioritize. And I think that's ultimately what is really sad.
Yeah.
Everyone would love to take care of
I
themselves.
disagree. I'm sorry, I disagree. Like there's some of us who are on the fit side that don't have that privileges. I wake up at 4 a.m., have a full-time job. I get it done. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I want to be the highest version of myself, the most evolved version, and she has to show up.
But your life allows it. Yeah.
No,
Your
I make my life.
No.
I agree. You have to make your life allow it. You have to hold enough value in what your goal is to make the time to do it. There's so many workouts that don't need equipment, that only require like body resistance or something similar. There's so many free groups. Hike It Baby. Like they're in almost every city in the United States. And it's a nonprofit organization where they'll set up a hike meet and greet, and they'll let you know if the hiking trail is stroller friendly, if it's pet friendly. They'll give you like the time and place, and it's a community, and it's something active that's free. Also, I think there's another group, Fit Mom, something Fit Mom. That's also another group that's completely free that you can ask to just show up. Usually they show up at like a park because they're moms with kids and they watch their kids while they do different body weight workouts. If you're determined enough to improve some sort of fitness, like there was one time I wanted to increase the number of push-ups that I would do. I would set an alarm or watch the clock, and every hour I would do 10 push-ups, and that wouldn't take too long. And you can do that anywhere, pretty much anywhere. It might be weird if like you're working in a cubicle and you get up from your desk and do like a few push-ups, but most people won't say anything because it's not like you're doing anything too crazy. Like you can go to the bathroom most likely every hour. People have smoke breaks. If you can have a 15-minute smoke break in an hour, you can do some sort of workout activity for 15 minutes in your work day, in my opinion.
Allow it.
Exactly.
I
You
surround
do,
myself
but
with
other
that.
people don't have the possibility that you
They
have.
do. They just
Not
everyone. And I also
No.
think there's
You
some
need to be from
Put
different.
the effort in. That's it.
I also think too, like let's say for example, you're a teenager and you're like 500 pounds.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
work that you need to do to remedy that is like that's really challenging.
Teenagers should not be 500 pounds. That is a failure of the parent. That is neglect. That is years of something going on in that family that should have been addressed a decade before a 15-year-old or a teenager is 500 pounds. Something needed to be addressed a decade prior to that ever happening within that family, in my opinion. Because there's only so many reasons why a person would feel the need to use food to cope. And if they're not using food to cope, then what are they associating food with? Are they associating it with love? Well, if they're associating it with love, that means the parent taught them that.
Challenging. That's a
I
hard
agree.
thing to do for
I agree.
anybody. As opposed to like me, I was really skinny and then I decided, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym, I put on my weight. The results are showing. It looks like I'm working super hard. I make these choices like go girl.
Right.
But that is not the same accessibility that someone can make that change for themselves in different circumstances.
I agree.
So I
My
think-
only caveat is it's hard for both, but it can be done, is my point.
Yeah.
I wouldn't
That's
say
my
that it's
only
as hard for me as someone who's overweight trying to lose that weight. In my opinion.
But do you believe that it can be done?
I believe it can be done. I believe
Okay,
it can
so
be
we
done, but I think empathy and compassion for the different circumstances that may stop someone from doing that is necessary. To see like, oh, get off your ass and like do all this.
said
Which you're
that.
not saying, but I'm saying some people, commenters,
Byron's
might be
not in
saying
this
that.
episode.
Myra was the word.
Oh
Oh
there is a spectrum for your body Our height isn't under our control. Our fat
Right.
distribution, our bone density, our muscle density, our metabolism.
Yes.
These are all things that make up who we are. But in that spectrum of health, absolutely, we can change who we are
Yes.
with what we got, right?
And then we'll stop right there and move on to the next one. Body positivity can promote unhealthy habits. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I agree that body positivity can promote unhealthy habits. This is seen with fat acceptance, in my opinion, where you're trying to be so positive about how you look and about your body that you're neglecting or pushing aside ways you can improve it because you're so positive in this moment. Sure, you should love your body and you should want to treat yourself well, and they need to reframe some of their thinking about exercise, about diets. And I hate that diet is a bad word. Fad diets are toxic. Diets in general is defined as what you eat. Everyone has a diet because everyone eats. When you use diet as a verb, it is associated with fad diet culture. But everyone does have a dietary spectrum. And they need to reframe thinking that focusing on nutritious food, not as a punishment, but as an opportunity to fuel their body, give themselves the macro and micronutrients that they need to reframe exercise not as a punishment, but as something that you enjoy, and doing exercises and activities that you do enjoy to reframe that. Yes, you should love your body and you should love yourself and you should care enough about yourself to ensure that you're within a healthy weight range, that you have full range of motion or as much full range of motion as you possibly can for your circumstances, that you are capable, that you are strong, that you are not reliant or dependent on anyone else. And when body positivity encourages people to no longer improve themselves because where they are is good enough, I think that's unhealthy.
I think blind body positivity can be harmful if it's just like always like, don't ever consider any possibility that you could change something or improve your quality of life. Just blindly accept yourself. I think that's where it can get kind of toxic.
I don't look like how I looked when I was. So body positivity is encouraging yourself to accept you're gonna transform eventually. When you're 40, when you're 50, you're gonna get wrinkles, all these things. So yeah, definitely body positivity should have taken another route instead of just saying it's for bigger people, because it's not. It's for all the variety of people that need to accept you're changing.
Yeah, I think the pendulum has switched to the furthest extreme. I think body positivity was created because there wasn't a space for people who could have acceptance in bigger bodies. And I think it's just gone to the furthest extreme now. And
Like women come in all shape and sizes, right? And every woman is beautiful. And I think that you should really be confident in your body and the way that you look, wake up feeling your best. But I feel like especially on social media and in society today, this body positivity movement, I've seen like multiple times where there's like obese women promoting body positivity. And it's like I wouldn't want like my
What's
kid.
obese for you?
It's
Yeah.
like an unhealthy lifestyle, like
but
overweight.
what for you?
Obese, like a
Like for
medically
me,
obese.
if you see me, you
What's her
consider me obese.
I wouldn't say that you're obese, but it's like medically,
So like
I would consider her obese. I think that if she went to the doctors, her doctor would probably classify and medically diagnose her as obese. I'm not a medical professional. That's why I'm saying that I think if she went to her doctor, a doctor would do that. And obese isn't a bad word. Obese does not mean you're a terrible person. It's just a medical status of where you are, an indicator of certain risk factors, and it's not permanent. It's not permanent.
for
So you're
example,
medically obese though?
mm,
Yes.
I've been medically obese since I was like 12 and I was not obese.
Well, does anybody here
So
Would anybody here explain what they mean by medically obese? Just-
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who has-
Like,
BMI.
Like when you go to the doctor's
Yeah.
office and you get weight on a scale and they'll tell you, oh, you're a little bit overweight, or they'll say you're morbidly obese, you're
Because of your
whatever
height.
things like,
everything.
like if you look at me, you would be like, oh, she's a little plus size, but I am technically considered obese
so
by my
I
doctor.
Yeah, and doctors can use different factors to determine if someone's obese. They can use the BMI as a factor, which is your height and your weight. They can also use your body fat percentage as a factor to determine if you're obese. Because obviously, if you're a bodybuilder and you have an excess amount of muscle, because you have a lot of muscle, you will weigh more and your BMI will be higher because of that muscle weight. Weight in general will wear and tear your body. It doesn't matter if the weight comes from fat or muscle. If you are above a certain weight limit compared to your height, there is going to be wear and tear to your body, to your cartilage, to your ligaments. There's going to be wear and tear.
I was obese at, I think it's 30 BMI. Now the BMI we've have come to learn that it's a little bit tricky now.
Right.
But that's what it's based off.
Yeah.
But so correct. But
mass
now that when I was a size 14, I was considered obese.
Oh, and also you can also use height to waist ratio as an indicator for being overweight or obese as well. So that's 3 different measurements to determine if someone's obese: BMI, height to waist ratio, and then body fat percentage.
Obese. It's smaller than we think.
I think an
Yeah.
obese person, and this is not, calling absolutely anybody obese, but I think a person that can be considered obese will not be able to go on walks. They will lose their breath. For me, because I am a person that I'm big, but like I said, I'm still able to go on hikes and I won't lose my breath. I can go on runs. I can exercise. So
So
if for the
you're-
doctors I'm obese because
Yeah.
of the size and the stuff that
Yeah.
I am, for the
Uh-huh.
doctors,
Yeah.
for me, it is not the way that it works. Because an obese person, I've had friends who are skinnier than me. We go on walks and they're losing their breath.
Sure, your size does not necessarily equate to your physical fitness, activity level, endurance. There's lots of things that play into how fit you are, how much endurance you have. If you are a larger individual who goes on 10-mile runs and your body is acclimated and accustomed to go on those long runs, of course you're going to perform better than someone who is smaller than you, who thinks a 1-mile run is a long run. However, the wear and tear on your body from the amount of weight you're carrying is going to impact you.
So for you, obesity is just the
The fact-
health parameter of how you physically you can be. For you.
Exactly.
It's not a physical manifestation.
Exactly.
what the doctor
Exactly.
when that doctor says that bad word, it's he's looking on a chart versus saying you
But
can't.
how many people have
but he's
been
saying-
bad
but
diagnosed?
he's not saying you're ill and you can't walk up that hill.
I've
you,
had
you
doctors
go,
say that to
you
me.
go, I
That's
have
the thing,
that.
I have to
I'm
say that
obese
to
and I
me.
can still walk
So-
up that hill. And that's what's fabulous about it, right? It doesn't automatically mean you're ill, but also down the road, absolutely it's going to mean you're ill. You're lucky with your genetics currently. Down the road, it's not going to be the same
But
story.
this is the thing, you think they're genetics. But since I was really young, I'm active. I'm an active woman.
I never said you're not
No,
active.
no, I know. But I'm just responding to what you're saying. I know you're not saying that I'm not active. I'm responding to what you're saying about the doctors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I have had doctors tell me that.
Tell you what.
That I'm obese and that
Yes.
I cannot exercise, that why am I not exercising, why am I not doing the effort. There's doctors that have bad diagnosed me for things that I've never had. And I've gotten medicated for things that I've never had. So it's like,
Right. Well,
it's
that's-
everybody, it's
They're
different.
killing us too. So
Just we
Doctors practice medicine, they're not all knowing. If you think something is off, get a second opinion. I do not support doctor shopping, but I do support advocating for yourself for a second opinion. Because again, doctors practice medicine, they are not all knowing.
went down a tangent.
Yeah.
We're talking about We're talking about body positivity,
Yes.
whether we think it promotes unhealthy habits. We're going to bring in our disagreeer.
So I didn't step forward because I really hate the toxicity that has come from people being like, oh, body positivity promotes obesity and blah, blah, blah. I hate that so much. I think there is like the minutest people who are doing that. The vast, vast majority, I do not think promote obesity.
I think I could agree with her that there is a select percentage that is promoting fat acceptance as body positivity, and that likely the average person is not promoting that. However, I feel like I always say however. However, the ones that are promoting it have very large platforms, are sharing misinformation, and their message, in my opinion, is just as harmful and toxic as individuals looking at Ariana Grande. Is it Ariana? And seeing how skinny she's gotten since the Wicked movies and having admiration for being her size. I think both messages and both are equally harmful. I think the only difference between those situations is I've seen more people calling out and talking about Ariana Grande and all of the Wicked cast and how so many of them are concerningly thin. It is more acceptable to call that out and talk about it than it seems to call out individuals in fat acceptance that are promoting people being overweight, maintaining that weight, if not gaining more weight, and villainizing if anyone attempts to lose weight. I think it is extremely harmful to villainize people for weight loss or weight gain.
Body positivity to me is just loving your body, accepting your body how it is, and not hating yourself. Like, you shouldn't have to wake up every day because you're 400 pounds and hate yourself. Like, I don't think anybody should be hating themselves. So that to me is what body positivity is about. And it's also about equality in how people are treated. Like, for example, Lizzo gets called out so much on like, oh my God, she's out there with her ass and stuff. Like, oh, it's so disgusting. Chapel Roan, who, God, I love Chapel Roan, was at Gumball and came out as Statue of Liberty and had her ass out, did not see a single person online.
That could also be your curated algorithm in your feed showing you certain things. I am fairly positive that Chaperone, there was probably people talking poorly about that. I know right now for the Grammys, there's a lot of discourse on her outfit and people are talking about her. I think our social feeds feed into our perspective of what we believe is being talked about. There's probably more things being talked about than what we are aware of and what we create our echo chamber on. Because that's essentially what a lot of social media feeds do. They create an echo chamber. Yeah, you might not see people calling out extremely skinny, concerningly skinny individuals, but someone else may see a ton of discourse on it on their social feeds. It's because it's individualized, and just because you're not seeing it doesn't mean that it's not necessarily happening.
Saying, oh, so why does she have her ass out? It's like, it's a double standard. People inherently hate fat bodies and don't think they should be seen in society.
I actually disagree with that because I do see people hating on Chapel Rowan for the way that she looks and her outfits, and there's going to be hate on both sides.
Of course, there's going to be hate. But I meant like the volume.
Oh, of course, there's gonna be hate. You just said, let's back up. She had just said she's not getting any hate.
But Chapel Roan, who, God, I love Chapel Roan, was at Gumball and came out as Statue of Liberty and had her ass out. Did not see a single person.
See, she just said, did not see a single person. It's not happening. I didn't see it. I got really animated right there. Did not see a single person. It's not happening. I didn't see it. It wasn't on my social feeds.
Online saying, oh, so why she have her ass out? You know, it's like, it's a double standard. People inherently hate fat bodies and don't think they should be seen in society.
I actually disagree with that because I do see people hating on Chapel Rowan for the way that she looks and her outfits, and there's going to be hate on both
Oh, of
sides.
course, there's I
Oh, of course. Oh, of course. Mm-hmm.
meant like the volume of hate that
First said there was no hate, saw nothing online, and now is saying, oh no, but it was just disproportionately more for Lizzo. Objectively, how are you quantifying that?
Lizzo gets compared to Chapel Roan. Like I would say, like it's much smaller. Like I just you constantly hear about like Lizzo, and you know.
I have a question. I have a question
Yeah.
about Lizzo. Okay,
Always
one of
comes
the
back to Lizzo.
one of the
She's lost weight too.
I
She's
know.
lost a lot.
Yeah.
You know?
one of the few times I saw her streaming, she had this gorgeous cake was gifted to her. Enormous. Went in with it with a fork and was eating constantly and talking to the camera while she was streaming. The volume of the cake that she ate, I just went, oh my God, how many people are watching this? This is absolutely it was a horrible representation. I hated every moment of it. What do you have to say about that?
Well, my question would be, if there was a thin person doing that, would you have had that same
Yes.
reaction?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, then I think it's more about like she's not promoting obesity by eating cake on camera. She's just, you know, eating cake.
But
on
if she's the representation,
If you eat an entire cake on camera, you're promoting unhealthy eating. If I drink 10 shots on camera, I would be glamorizing alcoholism and glorifying alcohol. Both are bad looks.
of body positivity, and she's behaving this way, is that promoting?
Have
a
you
negative
noticed
light?
that she just posted a video that she lost weight? Like
No,
that,
absolutely don't. I
she just
absolutely
posted a
not.
video
I
and she
absolutely
lost
did not,
weight. You can see the
because
difference.
I don't want her in my
So
algorithm.
it was just probably that one day that you saw her doing that, but that doesn't identify her as a whole person.
Yeah, in defense of Lizzo, not a sentence I want to read.
Sure, people are allowed to change, people are allowed to grow, people are allowed to evolve. Does not erase your past, but it can demonstrate a positive pattern moving forward, or negative patterns moving forward, depending on your opinion of the pattern.
I have seen her post like, oh, here's the green smoothie that I got, or here's me with my salad, or like, here I am at the gym. I think there is this weird stigma where people that are overweight have to be perfect all the time. They can never just like, you know, just have a cake. And I agree, it's challenging. I agree, it's not great. Listen, I'm not saying that's great.
That was
Not
too
great.
much.
But I'm saying that like this one instance of her doing this amidst all her other ones of her trying to be healthy.
Can I go on the opposite side of that? Like with Lizzo, there's like Eugenia Clooney. She's a very petite, tiny woman. Why are people saying
Eugenia is concerningly thin. It is really sad. It's, in my opinion, I'm concerned about her health. Her being that thin is just as concerning as 600-pound individuals. Both are not healthy.
oh, good job, Lizzo, like good job for eating healthier, but like when Eugenia Cooney's like trying to eat something, like
But is Eugenia Cooney allowed to have hashtag body positivity?
she does sometimes. So
Is
she promotes herself literally wearing like tiny
Because we're-
outfits, showing her body.
And that was my whole point, is like these extremes are
Mhm.
hijacking it.
Yeah,
I agree.
you're not
like,
good representation.
Yeah,
No.
that like the algorithm, they will push out the most extreme cases because they get the most views, and that's what people want to see.
Yes, it's dangerous.
Including these conversations. I know this was pretty,
Yeah, I agree with that. It's dangerous. It's dangerous how those extremes are what are pushed out, because young, influential individuals are exposed to that high volume of traffic on both extremes.
pretty reasonable. All right, let's reset.
No matter who you are, there's no denying that injuries can really put a damper on your everyday life. Like seriously, being injured when I'm trying to hit a new PR legit sucks.
I have taken a weight loss drug. Will the agreeers please step forward?
I have taken a weight loss drug from July to December 2025, I was on a GLP-1 to help boost my weight loss journey because I had maintained about 155 pounds on a 5'1" frame for 2 years, and I was finding it extremely difficult to go into a weight loss journey or be able to start losing weight, and it significantly helped me. I'm now in a healthier weight range, and I have been maintaining a healthier weight range for the last 2-3 months. Medical intervention is not failure. It is there to be utilized and to assist us. And it can be life-saving, and it was created and is there and is available for a reason.
I guess everybody's perfect.
I'm interested to see like what do we define as drug?
Just nasty.
I think we're talking about the
Ozempic,
Pills?
yeah. Wait, well, any
like diet pills.
drug that you've taken. Sorry, but yeah. Come on in. Let's hear your story.
I have used weight loss drugs before I knew the power of them in college and that you could get them over the counter, but they were incredibly strong and probably needed to be controlled at that time. But I don't know I was just so obsessed with my body size. I've pretty much my whole life, and that's just the culture, American culture that I was raised in and lived in, and so I would try drastic means, and I've done things that would just get you super wired. Even as an adult, once I figured out how to eat, I gained the weight back during the lockdown, like a lot of people did. And I go, gosh darn, I was so upset.
I actually got extremely fit during the lockdown. Very surprising. I focused on my fitness during the lockdown as a means to deal with being locked in. And I maintained that for a very long time until I started gaining weight. Yeah, there's like 2 periods of time where I had gained an excess amount of weight, and I know why I did. It was based on unhealthy coping habits. Unhealthy habits can cause you to gain weight and can lead to being unhealthy. If you switch out unhealthy habits for healthy habits and you lose weight, I would objectively say that if you're losing weight with healthier habits, you were unhealthy before.
And I took a prescription weight loss drug that was prescribed by a doctor, and I was able to drop the weight quickly. I used it as a biohack. I used it short term just to get the weight off, because once the weight is off, now it's on you. You have to know how
So
to
this
eat.
is more recently.
Yep, and this is absolutely recent.
Was
too.
it like Ozempic, something like that?
Phentermine? You can get it prescribed. It's a controlled substance. It's hardcore, but it takes the thought process out of your mind. That thing, that monster that always tells you you're going to get your next serotonin kick by that food, and you're hyper focused on eating, and it takes that monster stops talking. So now when the monster stops talking, you go, I can control this. I can make changes in my lifestyle in order to make healthier decisions to keep the weight off that I just lost with this drug. And yeah.
I was so desperate to lose weight. I was like on TikTok scrolling through, and like they were sharing like, oh, this drug does this and this is that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and just blindly buy this thing, and showed up at
Do
a
you know
horrible
kind of
time
what
for
kind of drug it was?
It was a pill that I took, and it like suppressed my want to eat food. But it also like had some really bad side effects. Like when I would eat, I would feel sick after. And I realized like, oh, I'm feeling horrible all the time and having this energy low and like just feeling physically sick.
How long were you on it?
I was on it for 2 months
Did
maybe.
you lose weight?
I lost some weight, but as soon as I got off of it, I gained all of that weight back.
Yep.
Mhm.
I
You
gained
have
it
to know what to do
all
once
back.
once you're there. What are you
Exactly.
gonna do?
Exactly. It was
Yeah.
like the crutch, and like you just relied on it so much, and then once it was gone, you had to do your own thing,
Yeah.
and
You have to figure it out.
you had to figure it out, and the pill was doing all that for you. And then for me, I gained more weight than I lost when I was on it.
Let's bring in our disagreeers.
So oftentimes, like that food noise, yes, it is, or whatever that noise is that you have that is telling you to have something in excess, it can significantly impact your decisions and your actions and make it harder to improve your habits and your choices. Oftentimes, pairing medication with facing the reason or the root of why you're craving something or dependent on something or have little to no control in saying no to something, it allows you to actually focus on that so that you're not distracted by the noise. Yeah, you can't just take a magic pill and assume that your previous habits are just going to improve. You have to continue to improve your habits with this medical assistance and medical intervention. They have to go hand in hand, or else it's not going to be sustainable. And you want sustainable health, not short-term periodic health.
So I've heavily considered taking Ozempic, but I've decided not to because you either have to stay on that drug long term to keep those effects, or if you get off of it, most people are going to gain the weight back. So I'm no longer interested in.
Because they don't address the root cause of why they were doing what they were doing, or they don't make new habits that they will sustain.
In anything that is not a complete lifestyle change. Like for me, I have learned over the years that I would prefer to be fat and happy than thin and miserable. So like right now, I'm just.
It is her choice and her right to be happy however she wants to be happy. It saddens me that she equates losing weight with sadness, and that she has lived experiences where losing weight was associated with sadness, and she associates food and eating in excess to happiness. Ultimately, it's her life, and she can live her life however she wants. But it's not anyone else's fault or responsibility for the choices she makes. She's responsible for her own choices and the consequences of her choices. I like to say there are no good or bad choices. It's choices and the consequences you're willing to live with. If you're willing to live with those consequences, then make the choice.
Just trying to, eat less processed food, stay away from like sodas and stuff for the most part. But I will never count calories, like, or because to me that leads to disordered eating habit.
For you?
For me
For her,
personally,
okay.
yes. I'm not talking for everybody.
Okay.
I'm not talking for everybody, but for me personally, and I do think
Alright.
for a lot of people,
It's my opinion that individuals who associate counting calories with disordered eating, oftentimes they were reducing their calories to such an extreme that they were starving themselves. And ultimately, you can't starve yourself. You have to eat. Everyone has a diet. But when you're trying to eat in a calorie deficit, oftentimes you don't have to do significant reduction in your calories. You can make small changes. Once those small changes are sustainable, then you can make another small change and you can build. Oftentimes, people have an all or nothing mindset, and that is problematic because an all or nothing mindset is not sustainable. It does not encourage sustainability.
For you?
for me
For her,
personally,
okay.
yes. I'm not talking for everybody.
Okay.
I'm not talking for everybody, but for me personally, and I do think
Alright.
for a lot of people, it can lead to disordered eating.
Kind of circling back to the topic about taking a weight loss drugs. Hell no, I would never take a weight loss drug. I worked really hard for my body, and I'm like a very big believer in that phrase. Like, if you wanted to, you could. Wouldn't you be so much happier if you lost the weight and you look back on it and it was like, yeah, like I did that.
Exactly.
You know, like that was 100% all me. I didn't need no help. I didn't need no cheat codes. Like,
Medical intervention is not a cheat code. I don't agree with that sentiment at all. If you had an infection and you took antibiotics, are you cheating? If you have a tooth infection and you go to the dentist and they remove your tooth, was that cheating? Medical interventions exist to improve your health. It's not cheating.
this was the work that I put in, and I got the results that I wanted.
And that was the mindset that I wish that I had
Mhm.
before I took the drugs.
Yeah.
Because like I was super naive. I was like 18 years old
Right.
and I had no knowledge about anything. And I was looking for a quick fix because all these people were telling me, oh, you need to lose weight, you need to do this. And that was in my own household. So it was my family telling me this, along with my friends and everything like that.
It's a lifestyle change ultimately. These are tools that you can utilize, but if you are not changing your lifestyle to go with it, then what will happen for you?
Right.
And so I think that's really ultimately what it is. If you're not ready to commit to the lifestyle change, using these tools is not going to help you.
When people do these quote unquote shortcuts, a lot of the time, like mentally, they're not there. So they lose the weight and then they're still like
Not fixing the problem.
exactly. It was like it was this quick fix, and now that it's, you know, they get off it, like everything mentally like that they were at when they were at a bigger weight is still there because they didn't put in that mental work, like doing it on their own.
Agree and disagree. I disagree that it's a quick fix or that it is a cheat, but I do agree that medical intervention has more sustainable effects when you also work on underlying causes as well and you improve your overall lifestyle habits.
For example,
we gotta reset. I'm getting the signal.
I will do the second part later because I'm going to wrap up. So stay tuned to part 2 of me reacting to fit versus overweight women on Jubilee. Let me know below what your thoughts and opinions were. If there was anything that you agreed with, if there was anything that you disagreed with. I'm really interested to hear what you think and where you stand on all this. I would greatly appreciate if you liked and subscribed this video. And if you hated it, dislike it. I don't care. It helps the algorithm anyways. And thank you for spending time with me and watching this. Also, once I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to cosplay as Rapunzel, and I'll have a poll on what the topic should be for that video as well. So I'm excited. I love cosplay. That is something that I really enjoy. See you guys later, and thank you for hanging out with me.